guys, this is the new Volkswagen Golf R. It was introduced to Malaysia sometime earlier this year and it cost 334,000 ringgit, which is not exactly cheap. It produces 320 PS and 400 Newton meters of torque. There used to be a time where cars like this were a huge amount of fun. They offered practicality and performance. Now though, things have changed in the world of the hot hatch. Just a couple of days ago, Volvo Malaysia introduced the EX30, the smallest and the quickest Volvo ever made. Now, the performance version of that particular model does the 0 to 100 in 3.6 seconds. For comparison's sake, the Golf R does it in 4.7 seconds, which is over a second different. Now, you got to wonder though, you're going to spend over 300,000 ringgit for this just simply to be smoked from the likes of the Golf R. Even the smart #1 Brabus is still really quick. In fact, in the world of EVs, there are a lot of cars that demolish the 0 to 100 sprint in just a couple of seconds. So you got to beg the question, is there still a place in the world for cars like the Golf R? I mean, not everybody likes EVs, but everybody likes amazing acceleration. So I'm driving the Golf R over the next couple of days, and I'm going to be trying to answer that question and to see whether there really is a place in the world for the likes of this car. The EX30, for example, costs 220,000 ringgit, which is over 100,000 ringgit cheaper than the Golf R, and it's quicker. So, of course, then you have the smart #1 Brabus that is priced at 250,000 ringgit, and that is also really quick. Not as quick as the EX30, but quicker than this. So do you really want to spend that much money on a Golf R? Is it still valid? Does the Golf R still have a place in the world? I'm going to try to answer that question as we go along, as I spend time with this car over the weekend. So come along with me and we will try to explore this topic in depth. As usual guys, before we go any further, a quick acknowledgement of our sponsor. We'll be right back. This video is brought to you by Berjaya Sompo Insurance. Get Sompo Motosafe by Berjaya Sompo. The less you drive, the less you pay. It's that simple. Choose from 3 different mileage plans with affordable premiums to fit your driving needs. Perfect for those who drive occasionally. Plus, enjoy extra perks like unlimited towing, 100% special perils, and all driver coverages. Ready to drive smart and save big? Switch to Sompo Motosafe today. Head over to Berjaya Sompo Insurance and start saving now. But to fully understand whether the Golf R still has a place in the world, you kind of got to understand the history of the Golf R. What does the Golf R actually represent? And does it still represent that? Well, the Golf R can potentially find its origins back to over 20 years ago, guys. So this is a car that is steeped in history, that has made many thousands of people very happy behind the wheel. And I kind of understand why, because right now I just press this button on the steering wheel, the R mode, and I'm in race mode, and the car just feels and sounds a lot more purposeful. And I'm about to put my right foot down, first downshift. This is what the Golf R is all about. It's all about driving pleasure, driving entertainment. And this is a car that will make you smile, will cheer you up on a bad day, will make you forget all of the bad things in life that are happening in your life. That is what the Golf R is all about. Of course, let me just get out of R mode so I can concentrate on this, put it in comfort. I have a bunch of different modes over here, so I have about 6 different modes that I can, select depending on my mood, I guess. And I lost my train of thought. Anyway, the Golf in this body, well, it was always supposed to be a car that was, easy to drive, fun to drive, perhaps easy to attain as well, though at, nearly 350,000 ringgit, it's far from easy to attain, because this price point, it just, wow, I think it just does not make sense anymore, because it's so close to the Mercedes-Benz A45S, which is the ultimate hot hatch. And then at the same time, it's also so close to the Civic Type R, the FL5, because that is a car that is currently the ultimate driving machine, the purest machine. So where does the Golf R actually sit? Anyway, let's delve back into the original topic, because it has space for 4 people. As long as they're not very tall, it can get pretty comfortable in here. I put it in sport mode, and the car has just, become a little bit more lazy. The accelerator is not really responding until I really properly push it down, and then the steering wheel feels light, and it's nice. It's just a very comfortable machine. So this is the essence of the Golf, a comfortable, easy to drive machine that has performance when you want it. So in that sense, the Golf R still has all of that. Let's forget its astronomical price for a minute. And it has all of that. But then again, you consider the competition, the likes, I always say this, the likes of the Volvo EX30. Wow, 220,000 ringgit, 0 to 100, 3.6 seconds. Of course, the Golf R has a higher top speed at about 250 kilometers per hour, where else the Volvo maxes out at about 180. But where are you going to go at 250 kilometers per hour? You really, wow. I think right now it's more of a question of acceleration. So in that sense, can you imagine you spend 350k on a Golf R only to be smoked by a Volvo EX30 at the traffic light drag wars? Doesn't even sound that nice, man. Anyway, so in that sense, I think the Golf R difficult to justify already. So even that we have the Zeekr R that is coming up soon. The Zeekr R is going to be entering Malaysia, and that too has some face morphing acceleration. So in that sense as well, I think it's hard to talk about the Golf R anymore, because you're going to be spending so much money only to be smoked. Yeah, no fun. Alright, so now that we are done stealing a little bit of the Golf R's thunder, let's just take a moment to appreciate what this car actually has to offer. I think one of the biggest problems over here is definitely its price. It's a very expensive car, there's no doubt about it. And every time you think about the Golf R, you might wonder, am I better off spending money on an EV that is cheaper and quicker, or am I better off spending a little bit more on the Mercedes A45S AMG, which is powered by the world's most powerful 2-liter 4-cylinder engine? And so the Golf R sits in the middle of these two paradigms, right? However, after spending a couple of days with it, there are a couple of things that I like about this car. Firstly, there's no doubt that when I flex my right foot, it goes. It really goes. And this is one of the things that you can revel with the Golf R. And besides that, I really like the practicality that the Golf, doesn't matter whether it's the standard Golf, the GTI or the Golf R, I really like the practicality that it has to offer. I like small, fast cars, but the Golf R is much more than just small. It is, after all, an all-wheel drive machine, and the thing about that is it offers a level of, I like to say, safety as well, because you can't argue against the amount of grip that all 4 wheels have to offer. But once the corners start getting a little bit exciting, that's where you can properly engage in what the Golf R has to offer as well. So that's one of the things that I think the Golf R does really well. It's just, it has a Jekyll and Hyde character. And talking about character, if once you want to take it slow, you can sort of just take it easy with the Golf R as well. On a day-to-day basis, it can be quite practical, it can be quite efficient as well. Now let me see exactly how efficient. It's not telling me, it's been reset. Oh wait, long term 11.5 liters per 100 km. Keep in mind that this is after a full-time all-wheel drive machine, guys. So it's never going to be incredibly efficient. It is quite fun, but it'll never be incredibly efficient. So in that sense, I think the Golf R has all of that to offer, and it does that really well. So after long days of work, you can sit down in here and just chill. You have a really good sound system in here. You have access to all your favorite music through the wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and you have multiple driving modes. So what I usually do is I just put it in comfort and just hang back. So that is that Jekyll and Hyde character that I was talking about. So, but after a couple of days with this car, I think there are a couple of things that could be better as well, such as the engine. It has, for my liking, there's just way too much turbo lag. Like, I sort of really need to anticipate what I want to do with the car, when I want to overtake, and then I use this steering mounted pedal shifters to sort of just downshift to second or third gear and, you know, just sort of blast through. And that's pretty okay when you're in race mode, but you still get that slight turbo lag, which I really don't like. I don't remember the Mark 6 being like this. So that's the other thing. And for the price, for the amount of money that Volkswagen Malaysia wants for this car, only the driver's seat has electronic memory function. The passenger, you still have to do manual adjustment, which for me is a bit of a bummer lah. And then besides that, there are a couple of things such as the entertainment system that I was saying just now, the wireless Apple CarPlay and all. That's the other thing that I don't quite appreciate, because every time I'm charging my phone, for example, the system just sort of goes bonkers and does not let me play my music until I disconnect my phone. So I think that's a software problem. But when I disconnect my phone and I get a phone call, again, the system just completely gets confused, and then after I hang up, it does not let me play my music until much later. So that is a software problem inside here which needs an update. I'm not even sure whether Volkswagen Malaysia is aware of this issue. And besides all of that, I really don't have much to complain about with this car. I already told you about the entertainment system. Already told you about all these things in this car as well that can be better. But then again, there are a lot more cars out there that, again, in the world of EVs, that offer a lot more for cheaper. But it's just such a nice car to drive. I love downshifting this to second gear and just listening to the pops and crackles and that acrophobic exhaust, man. It's just, yeah, it's just something else. And I guess that's what the Golf R does really well. Hey guys, what are some of the things that you consider when choosing a petrol brand? For me, I make sure that the petrol can keep my engine clean and also give me better mileage. I'm sure everybody thinks about this when choosing a particular brand. With BH Petrol's Infinity RON 95 Euro 4M, you get precisely that. It has special German additives that reduces the amount of deposits that build up in your engine over the long term, keeping it clean. It also has improved friction modifiers that reduces the amount of friction that your engine has to go through, ultimately giving you better mileage and making BH Petrol's Infinity RON 95 Euro 4M the right choice. As far as the interior of the Golf R goes, well, you'd learn to come to terms with it, because there are a couple of things about the interior, just as it did with the Golf GTI, there are a couple of things about the interior of the Golf R that I wish could be better. Let's talk about the good stuff though first. I like the seats, they're ventilated seats, and that is something that I truly appreciate. You also get a very nice Harman Kardon sound system, brilliant. You get an auto hold function, everything just sort of, you learn how to deal with the interior of the modern generation Golfs, including the Golf R. However, there are a couple of things that annoy me, such as the haptic buttons. I'm not going to delve too much about this because even the big boss of Volkswagen himself has acknowledged that the haptic buttons need to go. They really need to go. They're not only a little bit complicated to use, but they sort of tend to, absorb all your fingerprints and dust and all, and it just makes the interior feel very yuck. So there's a couple of things about that I don't like. And then the software is just not very user friendly, particularly if you are driving. So for example, for me to adjust the climate control, I need to first press on this button here and then wait for this to load and then adjust it like this. This is the air conditioning fan, the blower settings, and this is your internal circulation. This is how you adjust the temperature, or you could just press it this way. This is your volume. And it may seem like I'm picking on bones, but guys, imagine that while you're driving, you're bouncing around and you're trying to adjust the bloody air conditioning and such. I'm surprised that the Germans didn't think of that. Perhaps because they have smoother roads than what we have here in Malaysia. And this is a Golf R, right? So the suspension is not exactly plush. It is spotty. So you get thrown around quite a bit. And at the same time, you're trying to adjust the air conditioning. It looks like you belong in a rap movie with all that moving, rap video with all that moving around. Anyway, onto the stuff that I like. I also like the fact that it comes with pedal shifters, though I wish they were aluminium or something rather than plastic. Still, they get the job done. The DSG gearbox is fantastic, quick, precise. That's how you want it. And of course, there are some shortcuts over here, like this R button. When you press the R button though, it immediately sounds purposeful. So all in all, the interior of the Golf R is, you learn to live with it. You learn to come to terms with it. There are a couple of things, as I said, that annoy me, but after a couple of days with the car, I've just come to accept it. And the other thing that I have to point out is the fonts. For example, right now, I have my mom, dad, my sister, and my wife all over here, but check out the fonts. So there's been a couple of instances where I want to call my mom, but I end up calling my dad. I want to call my wife, but I end up calling my mom, simply because of the size of the fonts. And then, with check this out. So all of this is just way too small for my liking. So I'm not sure whether I can adjust the font settings for Apple CarPlay, but anyway, that's another thing that I find to be a little bit annoying. Maybe I'm getting old, so I'm nitpicking. But these are things that these are my feedback from a day-to-day basis of living with the Golf R. The back seats, comfortable, not overly comfortable, but just enough, to run around your your daily chores and such. for your daily runabout is just decent. If you want a car to go pick up your kids and such, then this is just nice. Or is it? Because if you're going to be looking for a car that to run around on a daily basis, then there are cars out there that are cheaper and just as, you know, convenient as the Golf R, and perhaps even quicker. I'm talking about the EVs, like the Volvo EX30, the Smart #1 and such, which I was talking about during the starting of this video. So on that note, does the Golf R still have a place in the current automotive world? I think it's very difficult to justify its existence, simply because the EVs offer the same size, the same level of convenience, they are faster and such. And well, the Golf R has a basic range of a theoretical range of slightly above 500 kilometers, which a lot of EVs can match as well. Of course, refueling this is just a matter of minutes, where else for an EV it'll take more minutes, I guess. So on that instant, I think for some people who like internal combustion engines, who have still not embraced EVs, the Golf R might make sense. But again, on that note, you have to understand what the Golf R stands for. The Golf R was created for those that wanted a little bit more performance, a car that was more engaging, a car that can be thrown into corners and catapult out with masses of grip. The Golf R still does that. It's still a very performance-oriented hot hatch, except that the competition has caught up. But what if you want an engaging hot hatch? Is the Golf R still as engaging as the previous Mark 6? I think not. I think the Mark 6 Golf R was simply amazing. Of course, it's more powerful, more clever, more canggih, everything lah. But the Mark 6 is still one of my favorites. On that note, I think the Golf R over here, difficult to justify its existence simply because of that price point. If it was priced under 300k, I would say this is it, you know, but it's not. And then if you want a car that is more engaging to drive, the Civic Type R FL5, bros, that is a manual. You want engaging, it doesn't get more engaging than a Type R. But then again, before I end this video, I just want you guys to listen to something, because I might say that the Golf R may not have a place. But let me show you something. Let's go listen to this. Ready, guys? Now that you will never get with an EV. So that, I guess, is what the Golf R is all about. And as long as there are people that appreciate internal combustion engines, a Golf R will always have a place in the world. I just wish that the pricing was better, simply because there are cars, as I said throughout this video, there are cars that are quicker, fun, and perhaps offer everything that the Golf R has to offer with a cheaper price tag. Now though, the Golf R, does it have a place? Hell yeah, simply because of the powertrain and that amazing aircraft awake exhaust. Thank you for watching, guys. As usual, do consider subscribing.